What is after boob?
After boob. It's well, it's definitely not before.
It's not
We know
before.
that. It's not before boob.
It's not before boob.
It could be, but it's not. I don't know. Oh, go ahead. Try it again.
Did I interrupt you? I'm sorry. What were you
No,
gonna say?
I'm so depressed. I don't know what to. I don't know what to say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Welcome to the I Hate Critics 1995 podcast. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. Hi, MJ.
Hello.
Amy.
I'm still here.
Find us on I Hate Critics on Facebook. Someday, Amy will add something to it.
After this one, you bet I will.
You know, I feel like you guys are gonna get a lot of paintings.
Amy is open to Thomas Kincaid store.
And
I'm not doing it my
she'll
computer
be,
now.
Advertising this on the Facebook.
Look, before we start giving away what I'm going to do with my future, because neither one of you clearly don't have plans, I already know what I'm going to do, and it was inspired by today's film.
Which is The Bridges of Madison County, 1995, directed by Clint Eastwood, written by Richard Gravenese, and starring Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep.
Yes, exactly. The longest movie of our lives.
No, it is for a time, and then it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
This is a tale of two movies.
And one doesn't start until the end. Because for the most part, this was like we were saying, this gave Remains of the Day a run for its money.
We were long into this one, and it was weird how bad it was.
How bad it was.
Immediately, right off the bat, we were like, what is happening?
And
what is this?
And I kept saying, is it over yet? And you guys kept saying, it just started.
This is a blockbuster. It made a huge amount of money back in the day.
How? Make me understand that.
I mean, 1995, Eastwood was still a draw. Meryl Streep was still a draw. This book was a worldwide bestseller. That Amblin Entertainment, Spielberg bought it, maybe even considered making it after Schindler's List. He thought of making this as his next movie after that. Just didn't happen that way. And unfortunately, it ended up in the hands of Clint Eastwood. I don't hate Clint Eastwood. I hate his politics.
Yeah, I understand.
I think he's done some good work. I think Unforgiven.
Yeah,
is an unimpeachably great film.
Okay.
I don't think he's a good actor. I don't think he's shown himself to be a great actor very often, and I think he was desperately wrong for this role. And I think the time that you spend with him on screen is not good. Meryl Streep is giving everything, and
she gives everything all the time.
Yeah, he's just kind of he's just not a romantic lead, and he's too old for the role. I mean, the character in the book is like, I guess, 57. He's 65, so it's not that much of a difference. But Eastwood feels so much older.
He really does.
And I don't think the script really does much for him. It's all like, she has everything. She's got to do everything. And he's just this angelic figure who's just perfect in every way. But but we're also talking about the story that she wrote. So she must have written him that way. She wrote herself as unreasonable in one scene and wrote herself as, this spastic, laughing, flirtatious woman in another scene. So, because this is all from her perspective, the framing device is that she's died and her children have found her notebooks with her details of her affair with this man she met in 1965 who was taking pictures of covered bridges in Iowa.
Yes, like you do.
It sounds intensely boring.
And it was, for the most part. It really was. It really, really was.
But I mean, I think this concept can work if you make it cinematic, which I think Richard Gravenese, who wrote the screenplay, was trying to do. But Eastwood, I'm not sure, he's trying to go for a level of naturalism that it's so natural it becomes dull.
Yeah. Like the thing about Meryl is that natural, it comes so easy to her. Which she does, like, she's literally one of the greatest actors of all time. She just is. Everything she does, you believe. I even bought her Italian accent in this, which, again, with her, she's great at accents. She just is, but she's just a great actress. So, like, I don't mind going into this movie going, yeah, I'm gonna hate it, but it's got her. At least I can watch her. You know, she was the draw from the outset. Clint, not so much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you live in Iowa, you understand how this movie could come off as very boring because it just is very boring here.
We're very bored.
We're always bored. Why do you think we have a podcast? You know, people always say it's like everybody has a podcast. Well, trust me, in Iowa, we probably have more podcasts out of Iowa than anywhere because there's nothing else to fucking do here.
We have to find things outside of here to focus on.
And not all of us are going to wait till a craggy 100-year-old man shows up in a truck with a camera and a high fuckability rating, I guess, amongst people in 1995. I still don't get the draw. I don't get the draw. I remember Mom saying, "Oh, I think he's cool." And usually if she said that somebody was cool, that means she had, like, Sam Elliott was cool. Yeah. You know? I don't get it.
Eastwood was assigned an image very early on, and from his time when he was a very young man in westerns and whatnot. He was assigned this thing of being very, very cool, like the man with no name. He was a very cool character from his 60s western period, and
right.
I can see where a lot of women would have found him very attractive in that period.
Josie Wales, that kind of thing. I even said he was cute in Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, but again, it's like, I wasn't watching
Then
that
he
for
opens
him.
his mouth.
Yeah. And it's the same delivery in every fucking film with him.
I mean, that's why the man with no name works, because he barely speaks in those westerns. They use him to the best possible way.
Yeah.
Because he's not an expressive actor. He's not an emotional actor. He's holding a great deal back. He represents a lot of different men, and I think part of his appeal, even back in 95, was that he represented a lot of boomer guys who didn't know how to express emotion.
Yeah. 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 That's why so many of them are still alive today. We don't know why. Like, how do you survive like that? We're talking about the same guy that talked to an empty chair.
Oh.
I mean...
tangent. So in 2008?
Yeah.
When Obama was running for president, Eastwood spoke at the Republican National Convention on behalf of, was it McCain? Or was
one of
McCain
them.
or Romney, whichever one it was. And he spoke to Obama via an empty chair sitting next to him.
Yeah. Yeah. And just kept,
kept addressing the chair.
And like putting his hands
theatrically
near it.
walking the chair out. And...
Yeah. It was really weird. And we all thought, he lost his marbles.
Everyone made fun of him.
Yeah.
He was the main character for a good couple months.
Yeah.
On the late night shows with good reason.
Yeah, it's fucking insane, dude. You're nuts.
I think Leno introduced the dancing chairs. I think
that's
dancing chairs. Oh my God.
If he didn't, I mean, he's kicking himself just having me heard that, because why weren't you in my writer's room?
See, it feels like it was sooner than 2008. It feels like it was more recent than that. Was it?
Maybe 12?
Maybe. I just feel like
no, because I feel like it had to have been. I don't know.
I'm actually going to type it in.
I feel like for
Clint
most
Eastwood.
of my now I'm thinking about when Obama was president, and I'm like most of my childhood.
Well, yeah,
I'm thinking
8 to 12 and 12 to 16.
2012. It was 2012. Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because it felt. Yeah. Washington Post even said, Clint Eastwood explains and regrets his speech to an empty chair.
I really should.
Well, and I think that's the hard part about going back and watching some of these movies, because so many of these actors have not aged well in the way of politics, or in the way of apologies for coming off as an asshole, or like that kind of thing.
Mm.
It's very hard to watch him without thinking of him addressing a chair.
Yeah. But it's the most right wing thing he ever did. He was always a Republican, but this was the most blatantly out there sort of thing that he ever did.
Well, I didn't even realize he was always a Republican.
Oh yeah, from way back.
Wow. And John Cusack worked with him? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just a tangent, though. But it goes to the whole thing of how who Clint Eastwood is to you.
Yeah.
And Clint Eastwood to us is this right-wing, he's like the ultimate okay boomer guy, like just the ultimate boomer meme.
He's super boomer. Say what you will about, like, what, Gran Turismo? Is that one? Is it Gran Turismo?
Gran Torino.
Whatever it's called. I have the lunchbox.
Gran Turismo is a video game.
Same thing. So they're both boring, and I have no interest in either one of them. But, like, didn't he do a great job in Gran Turismo?
No, it was a terrible film. Both Gran Turismo and Gran Torino were both terrible films. No, I think he made that movie just so he could say the N-word. I'm pretty sure. I think he got to say all of his favorite slurs in that movie, and that's why he made Gran Torino.
He's like, I can finally get it out.
Nobody can stop me.
Because it's for a film.
This is, it's a context of the movie.
That's right. My character
it's not
would
everything.
say these things.
It's not everything I dreamed I would say.
I mean, I've got more.
Might make a sequel before I die.
just come to the RNC and I'll whisper them to you in your ear. I see again, like that colors a movie for me. Knowing what kind of person you are, that colors a movie for me.
Right.
That made this very hard.
But even if that weren't the case, I would still watch this performance and the way that the first 2/3 of this movie are crafted.
Yeah.
Like I remarked on it very early on. The editing is so blunt.
Yeah.
These cut, back and forth cutting. It's just, it's hard to watch, honestly. Like it's calling, like this level of just blunt editing should not call this much attention to itself.
What?
There's not a single elegant transition until like the second act.
Which is, like, again, that's a choice. What I don't understand, too, is, like, when they first meet, we couldn't have a scene where they're in the same frame. We had to just keep going back and forth. And, like, they weren't even, like, Meryl wasn't even on set that day, I'm guessing. They did them 2 separate days because Meryl was like, fuck this guy.
Well, I wonder, and I got some things to tell you about that you're going to be surprised by. But,
no.
We'll get to that in the IMDb trivia.
Okay.
But no, I think the issue is that he's directing himself, and I think he doesn't know what to do when he's not behind the camera. I think he gets nervous when the camera is on him, and he's also the director trying to control the scene. I don't think he trusts the crew to do the thing that he wants him to do, because clearly in the last act when he's not there, we're watching an entirely different movie. It's full of actual cinema. We've got editing. We've got elegant transitions. We've got music.
Right.
Through the first 2/3 of this movie, like they'll do like radios in the room and the tinny 60s era radio in the room, but there's no score. It's scoreless.
Yeah, it's dry.
And that makes
very dry film.
Exactly. It's so dry.
Yeah.
And their conversation is not something like those conversations are not interesting. Why are you in Iowa? How did you get to Iowa? What made you, tell me about Iowa?
Do you care about Iowa?
And
why does Iowa smell us? Like that was an actual.
Yeah.
Do you smell that? I'm like, are you in Clinton?
He loves the way Iowa smells.
He loves the way Iowa smells.
Well, then he's probably not in Clinton.
He's probably not. He's like, what do you think that is? Is it rain? And I'm like, it's the Purina factory. That's what that is. Whatever. But at least, at least we had fun watching the first part of this movie.
We did have fun because it was like we couldn't stop, like, because it felt like the remains of the day. Like nothing is happening. The story isn't really progressing.
Right.
They're falling in love. We're watching them have a love story, but it's like we're being told that they had a love story.
Right.
We're not actually experiencing it, which technically that's true because we're being, this is her story that she wrote down that her children are now reading to each other in terms of the framing device.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Her children are so annoying. Well, not the daughter, the son. Like he gets so pissed off just in the very beginning. I think that's where I immediately hated him right away, was how angry he was when they started finding these things out about their mother. And he's just like, I felt like she cheated on me. And it's like, you're a fucking baby. Oh, I'm so mad my mom had a life before I was born. Like, that's all I kept thinking.
Yeah.
Because these people, like anyone who has parents, I don't know if you guys know this, but before you were born, they had a life. They also were born to a person who had a whole other life. Like, are you that main character-y that's like, oh, it's all about me and my feelings? Like, the son even said at one point, he was just like, I thought I was like Prince of the Palace. And I'm like, that's a line. Because it does. And you're acting like you're Prince of the Palace. You fucking douchebag.
But I know maybe this is me retconning it because I do love that third act so much that I actually love this movie now. But like, maybe that whole awkward thing that's happening is them. He did that as a choice because they're the ones recounting the story, and once they softened, that's what then he turns it into an actual like. The whole movie softens and becomes romantic and actually beautiful. And maybe the first part is supposed to reflect their perspective, but their perspective is so uninteresting that it doesn't warrant being filmed.
Right. 100%. I agree.
So it's a choice. It's certainly, and that is a big cinematic decision on Clint's part that I can understand, but I don't think it's a good decision because you've made 2/3 of an incredibly dull film and then made an actual movie in the last third.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we made a better film throughout the movie. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
So it just the ideas that we had. Like I had a whole thing where Robert Kincaid's brother was Thomas Kincaid, who is actually the painter of light. So and every chance I got throughout this movie, I had to throw in there.
Yeah.
You know, like they even said the words light in there. I'd be like, speaking of light.
The
painter of light.
I cannot say enough how much people need to listen to the Dollop episode on Thomas Kincaid. The stories that they tell about this man.
It's so good.
I'm just going to try and recall one from memory because it's so good. It's him. He was dead. They thought he was dead for 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days, they thought he was dead to the point where, like, they had to wheel him out of an Italian hotel on one of those hotel carts wrapped in a sheet because they thought they were moving his corpse.
And he was alive.
He was still alive.
That's so good.
He woke up.
That's a great story. And actually, every time I look at a Thomas Kincaid painting, I'm going to think about him being not dead, but just passed out drunk.
Just imagine, I want you to just really think about this, the Matt Berry biopic of Thomas Kincaid.
Oh, wouldn't it be brilliant?
Oh my God.
Matt Berry, actually, he could do that. I could see that. I mean, he'd really have to work on his accent. But
if you got David Gareth from the Dollop to write the script and Matt Berry to play Thomas Kincaid. Oh my God.
Imagine. And it just even like the scenes of him painting. And like, he really thought he had something there. The painter of light. Call him the painter of light.
Everybody had to refer to him as the painter of light.
Doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of telling people, I'm the painter of light. Give me a minute.
Painter of light.
The painter of light needs a moment. Clear the room. Now imagine Matt Berry. Clear the room.
Clear the room.
Get the painter of light a drink.
I was going to say, get me 3 flashlights and 1 lamp. Let's see what we can do. He's so good.
I have a picture of a barn in my mind.
What's better is throughout this movie, I kept looking up different paintings from Thomas Kincaid. And what's so fucking weird is that there'll be like a painting of just a beautiful barn, right?
Mm.
And then there's the Death Star. Over
what?
Dude, I was like,
the Death
I
Star?
don't remember Thomas Kincaid including Star Wars, but it happened.
Are you sure you're not looking at AI art?
I swear to God, look at this. Look at this. Like somebody took his style and said, you know what? That needs some Death Star.
I would buy a series of Thomas Kincaid style Star Wars pictures. I'll
be honest with you, I probably would too.
Do you imagine like a Thomas Kincaid, but it's like Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen laid out, their corpses laid out outside their
burned to death. It'd be brilliant.
But in Thomas Kincaid style.
Here it is. Wait, no, it's not. Like,
it's just the moon. Oh my God! What the hell? Okay, I don't.
It's not the Death Star. But
I think that's AI.
What? No. Only the painter of light could bring that in there. Come on.
Oh, of course. It was definitely Thomas Kincaid.
How Star Wars helped me appreciate Thomas Kincaid. It's the whole story behind it. Like, that's brilliant. If that were true.
Yeah.
But Thomas Kincaid was really serious about his cottages.
Yeah. To the point where he just painted the same ones over and over again, and then them had a room full of immigrant people, illegal immigrant people, just recreating his painting by numbers and selling them in a chain of stores that he had nationwide.
We had one. What my favorites were the ones that they would foil. So like they'd put the colored foil over the paint instead. So like if you moved it, you're like, oh, he was the painter of light. Because look at how the light is just reflecting. Painter of light, indeed.
Oh my God.
Thomas Kincaid. I bet he got so much pussy, though. I bet he did.
He did.
He did. Like, that's fucking wild.
You can't be that drunk and not get laid.
Yeah, but look at the shit you're painting. Like, how... Like, you'd think that you have the cock the size of a button mushroom if you're making those kinds of paintings. I'm just saying. But that's why he's like, no, Thomas Kincaid. Like, I could just imagine him, like, there's a picture of him in here that actually has a goatee. Like, the man was, like, listening to Sugar Ray, painting his little cottages like it's fucking Mordor or whatever the fuck.
You've got to hear Dave and Gareth tell the story, but the story of him having dinner with the Sears people and then putting his wife in one limo and him and the Sears people getting another limo to go to a strip club. I mean,
I swear
and he was meeting with Sears because, of course, they're going to carry Thomas Kincaid paintings plus plates and various wall coverings.
I love it because like, Sears, you know the guy that shops at Sears. You know the family that shops at Sears. They are the people of Madison County. That's them.
Thomas Kincaid was on QVC for a very long time.
I honestly thought that Thomas Kincaid was like a 90-year-old man for the longest time. Because I mean, you look at this guy, like I said, he looks like he's a front man of Smash Mouth, and yet he's painting these little villages. You gotta be kidding me.
I don't know how old he was when he died. He wasn't that old.
He wasn't. He died in 2012. He looked like he was probably about our age when he died.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can't live that long when your liver is that big.
That's wonderful. Like, what a legacy.
Yeah.
Good for you, Thomas Kincaid. Get that pussy.
He was the ultimate sellout. Just the ultimate sellout. Like, he had no meaning in his art whatsoever. He didn't give a fuck. Like, the fucking rubes want to buy this shit? Fucking sell it to him then.
That's beautiful. Because let's face it, like, you could get a Thomas Kincaid painting in a McFlurry meal or whatever the fuck, McDonald's. Like, you get a Happy Meal. You could get one of those. They'd send you a sample of a Thomas Kincaid painting in the mail just to see if you like it. Like the AOL discs we used to get for the internet. Like, you can try it for free. I mean,
he had coasters. His stuff was on coasters.
And I just remember...
That's real art. When you're putting it on coasters, you know you've reached a true peak of artistic integrity.
It's not like, he wasn't already telling us just by the paintings alone that he was selling his soul. You know?
But then in public, he would go, I speak directly to God. Everything I do comes directly from God. He did that. That was Thomas Kincaid.
So God whispered in his ear, dude, you need to drink more?
Yes.
What would Jesus do? Drink more.
Right.
The public persona of Thomas Kincaid was like this guy. People loved him. The religious right loved him because he painted from God. And he's like, he got the cosign of religion, of the Catholic Church and all the churches across the country. And then behind the scenes, he had to hide all of this. He was just the biggest, like he was Spuds fucking McKenzie.
I
like
love it.
Just swimming in beers and strippers and coke.
But the dichotomy of looking at one of his paintings.
Actually, I believe that trip to Italy might have coincided with him meeting the Pope.
Oh. I mean,
that is beautiful.
I'm telling you, that's why the guy was on the dollop. That's why they did a dollop on him. He's like, why are they doing a dollop on this guy? He's just a fucking, he's just a huckster artist. And he just had the most insane fucking life. He tried to start his own village. Like he wanted to have his own series of Thomas Kincaid towns that looked. You could live in an entire town where all the houses look like Thomas Kincaid paintings.
Oh my God! I need one of these to be real.
I'm not making any of this up. Listen to the dollar. This is all Dave and Gareth. This is all from Dave and Gareth.
I know.
I need there to be one real town out there. Did he start?
I don't know how far he got.
in Iowa.
I'm recalling all of this from memory of the episode, but yeah.
Thomas Kincaid, you magnificent bastard. Could you imagine living in that town though? If that's the case, because there's going to be a pub that women are not allowed to go into, but it's going to be lit so beautifully outside.
Only the strippers are allowed.
Only the strippers.
I'm telling, yeah, I swear the only thing that kept this guy from being a cult leader was that he was just so drunk. He couldn't possibly.
God.
He couldn't possibly have led a cult.
He'd be so happy about Trump being in office, wouldn't he?
Well, you know what?
He would tell and publicly, yes.
Yes.
I feel like drunk people can run a cult. I mean, Klaus ran a cult.
That's true.
He was so high.
He was so and drunk.
And drunk.
Yeah.
I feel like those are a lot of people that run cults are
high and drunk and wearing diapers and
yeah.
If Klaus can do it, anybody can do it. That's crazy because I'm wearing my Klaus shirt today. Aw, you can't see because you're listening, but I'm wearing Klaus.
It's a beautiful shirt.
Anyway, Robert Kincaid is the name of a character in the movie, which is inspired.
And his little brother Thomas was making Peytons at 5 years old.
Oh, man.
That's what saved me
for the first 2/3 of this movie. Yeah, because it's so boring. The first two, this supposed romantic connection between the two of them is just not happening.
Well, and this won an Oscar, correct?
It was nominated for multiple Oscars. I'm not sure if it won any. I know it was nominated because Meryl got nominated for Best Actress but didn't win.
Which is insane because she's just fantastic.
I mean, I would give it to her just based on
that ending,
the last act of the movie.
Absolutely.
I am. So all three of us are hating this experience. It's feeling like the remains of the day. We're going to shut it off because it's so bad. And
we actually left to go get ice cream.
We were just okay, we're just going to go.
While they're gone, I'll just find out how it ended and I'll relate that on the show and we can just move on.
Right.
And then I reach this part where it's Eastwood leaves the movie. He's driving away. He takes a left turn and drives away, and she doesn't get out of the car to chase after him. And suddenly I'm watching an actual movie. We've got actual cinema happening. We've got elegant editing. We've got suspense. We've got genuine romance. We've got her voiceover comes in and starts actually telling the story. And it gets romantic and beautiful as she's telling it. I don't remember any of that from earlier in the movie, but
no.
Her emotions about it are incredibly compelling because she's Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
And she's such a great actress that when you guys walked back in here, I was on the verge of tears.
We didn't believe you either.
Yeah, we were like, this can't be real.
You're fucking with us.
The movie that we were making jokes about, that we kept, we were so surprised that they hadn't fucked on a bridge yet.
Which is the only reason I watched the film. Go ahead.
I was doing, okay, so while Amy was doing her Thomas Kincaid run, I was talking about how they're just going to bang on that bridge. That made the movie great. For me, those things, possible sex on a bridge, lots of Thomas Kincaid.
A possible, an urn holding a tea tray.
Oh.
Because we thought about Remains of the Day.
Oh,
and we were like, all we're missing is the guy that fell over in the garden, the dad that fell over in the garden, and we're like, his dad would have to be ancient.
God.
He would have to be an urn holding a tea tray.
So we had it in stop motion animation. We had claymation of the urn carrying the off the bridge.
No, the tea.
You're going to have to go back and watch The Remains of the Day so you'll get this joke, but trust it's funny.
Check the Remains of the Day episode. Don't try to watch The Remains of the Day.
Don't watch the
if you haven't already.
Just
it'll be on in your living room for years.
It doesn't stop once you start it.
You could just go and type in YouTube, old man falls over with tray, and It Remains of the Day. That one clip.
We laughed so hard at that old man.
This is okay, but okay. Again, we're not, we've got one professional film critic and the rest of us, we're just living our best lives over here.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to not say something inappropriate. And that, like when that guy falls over, and it was so funny.
It was so funny.
It was so funny. And we laughed so hard. That's probably one of my favorite memories from this podcast.
Absolutely.
But like today, like right before we were going to get ice cream, Clint Eastwood's character leaves the film, and it is, Meryl's character, her husband, and their kids, because they came back from the 7-year-long Illinois fair.
That's the
Illinois County
It took
Fair.
so long.
It was-
We had 14 dinners in 3 days.
It's so long. There's no way they were gone for 4 days. They were gone for years.
They're leaving for the Illinois State Fair. She meets Robert. He comes to her house because he got lost.
Yeah.
Trying to find his covered bridge that he was going to take photographs of. She takes him there. They bond in conversation. The most inane fucking conversation in history.
Yeah.
They have the longest conversations. They just, and it's never important conversations. It is the most mundane conversation.
Yeah.
Goes on for 4 years, and then all of the important conversations just seem to take 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Cut with no elegance, cut with no cinema. It's just shot, back and forth, back and forth.
You got 2 scenes that faded into the next.
Yes.
It was
we had the
weird.
2 fades.
Super inconsistent editing on that point. But we're at the end of this, where Eastwood's finally gone, and the family's sitting down watching TV. And I said to Sean right before we left to get ice cream, it's turning into In Cold Blood now. And if you know the story of In Cold Blood, Sean's like, that is so dark.
That's the darkest joke. It's the best, though. I laughed so hard. Because if it had become In Cold Blood at that point, that could have saved the movie
That
as
could have
well.
saved the movie.
If that had been the alternate ending of Madison, Bridges in Madison County, that her family comes home and it turns into In Cold Blood. Fuck yeah, I'm down. This is great.
It's so wild. What a way to end a movie.
I did not see that coming. This was all the setup to In Cold Blood.
It just had that depressing, oh my God, it's the early 60s and we have to sit together with our family and watch TV. I don't know about you, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s. We did not do that with our families. We did not do that.
The sisters,
that's a nightmare.
the little girl's bad boy boyfriend shows up and it turns into Badlands.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Which is also In Cold Blood.
Jeez. Though, I will say, not one actor of this film on Murder, She Wrote. Not one.
Not one, yeah.
Not one.
Eastwood should have been on Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, you would think. You would think.
Streep was always too big, but,
Yeah. Though, I just watched the very first 2 episodes. It was a 2-parter of Murder, She Wrote Season 1. Ned Beatty, Andy Garcia. Andy Garcia as, I think they billed him in the credits as #1 white roughie. He almost beat up Jessica Fletcher. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't think...
I don't totally understand
So was
whatever
that,
Murder, She Wrote is, but...
Which actor was that?
Andy Garcia.
Wow.
Who's
Amazing.
not white, by the way. So why was he billed as #1 white roughie? Weird.
That's weird. That's weird. I don't know.
It's weird. I don't get it.
Victor Slezak was not one time on Murder, She Wrote? Because he played the son.
No,
And
you know
Annie
what?
Corley was the daughter.
Yeah,
those two could have
They
been on.
look like they would have actually.
Because they
I
look
thought of
like
her.
Murder, She Wrote actors, and
She looked especially like a Murder, She Wrote actress to me.
and his wife.
Yeah, she definitely.
That opening scene is so bad.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
acting in that. Talk about that for just a moment.
It was not...
no.
Everything was so loud and just
Sitcom-y and broad and
interjecting.
Well, and because I'd even said the wife of the son seemed like she was more of a Broadway actress because she was way overreading those lines.
Yeah, they were very overdone.
Yeah, but sadly, she was the only person that looked like they were alive in that scene in the opening as well, though, because everybody. I mean, obviously, we're not supposed to be celebrating. A woman has just died, but. I felt kind of close to that woman because that's me with pretty much any funeral. I'm gonna start saying, "Well, she was Italian," or saying something really stupid that didn't belong in that scenario. But yeah, the acting was just, it started off really rough.
And Clinton Merrill aren't on screen for like 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. It takes a while for them to actually arrive because they're in the past. Their story set in 1965. The movie is starting in modern day 1995 with her death and her kids showing up at the farmhouse to collect her stuff and find out what will drive the rest of the story, which is her desire to be cremated and not buried next to her husband.
Yeah, which the son's wife actually went, "Oh, gross."
Yeah, like
I've never
cremation
seen anyone react to cremation this way.
That was the most, what do the kids say, out of pocket response I've ever seen in my life.
As if cremation was a concept that no one had ever heard of before. What is this big city concept you're talking about?
Cremation? What's that entail?
Who does that in Iowa?
Yeah.
Iowa is not a place for cremation. We shove all our people in the ground. Thank you very much.
What, were you right?
Annie Corley was on Murder, She Wrote, playing the character of Liz White in one episode in 1995, the same year she made this movie.
She had Murder, She Wrote face. She absolutely did have Murder, She Wrote face. And 1995 just ended. That was the final season, season 12. That just ended.
Wow.
That's crazy. You'd think I would have known that.
You missed that Murder, She Wrote fact.
I kept thinking, like, she looks familiar, but I didn't cross-reference. I should have done that. That was my bad.
Amy owes us all of an apology.
No, I bought ice cream, so yeah. Absolutely not.
Wow. What a streak we're on with these Murder, She Wrote actors appearing in this season we watch.
No one else, they weren't doing anything else back then. It was either Murder, She Wrote or a movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, the brother appeared on Miami Vice, which is the other one that you appeared on if you weren't on Murder, She Wrote.
That's right. Was Magnum still going at that point? Because it may have been on Magnum, too. You never know.
Okay, so when they do finally show up and the mundane bullshit, we get to this ending, though, and it's fucking beautiful. Let me just indulge this for just a moment. So we're starting in the rain. It's her family's back. Her and her husband have gone to the feed store and they're heading back to the farm, and she's going back to start her life. And she's told him that she's told Robert she can't go with him. She wants to go with him. She's not going to go with him.
Wants to go for sure.
She sees him. He's still there. He hasn't left town yet. And they see each other, and he's standing in the rain, staring at her, and it's okay. Well, this is kind of odd. And then he gets in his car and he's going to leave. And then she's thinking, oh, he can leave without me. I guess she doesn't mean anything. Then her car ends up behind his. She's with her husband in his truck, and they're behind him. And he very showfully takes her locket that she gave him and he hangs it in his mirror as a kind of a symbol to her to maybe get out of the truck and come up to my truck and leave with me.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't. She stays in her car, but he holds there for as long as he can, and even in the green light, he's just staying there. And her husband's not mad, he's just kind of bothered. I thought the husband was actually kind of great in this scene. He kind of felt like a character from a Nicholas Ray movie from the 50s, which is very internal and very real of where he's from. He's very
he wouldn't know how else to react.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. He's not aware that his wife has had an affair with this man. He's got no reason to be overly emotional.
Yeah.
But he sees his wife being very demonstrably emotional.
Yeah.
And so he's a little confused, but other than that, he just wants to get this guy moving and out of his way. So finally he turns, and just as Eastwood turns left and they continue on straight, he rolls up his window because it is raining. It's normal to roll through it, but symbolically,
that's the end.
It's like closing the box on that character, and he's going away. It's it's this lovely little bit of cinematic language that has not been in the movie.
Up until this
so
very
strange
point.
that it just enters
just
right
suddenly
now.
We're watching an actual movie.
It's almost jarring.
And it just stays that way now for another 28 minutes of movie that's left, because they're going to go flash a little further for the husband's death, then for the last few years of her life, where she doesn't see Robert again. She tries but doesn't find him, and then right before he dies in 1987, and she gets a box from him. And then watching her go through that, I was like, oh my God, it's like Jake Gyllenhaal in the RV.
Oh no!
Or the trailer at the end of Brokeback.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
If you've never seen Brokeback Mountain,
I have not seen that one.
the final moments of that will
Yeah.
break you.
That'll fuck you up.
Or was that he was Heath Ledger in it? Heath Ledger's, yeah. So yeah, it's that level. We're talking that level of emotions. Now imagine that with Meryl Streep.
Yep.
And now imagine that if she'd been talking about anyone other than the relationship she had with Clint Eastwood, because he gave her nothing for 2/3 of the movie. This movie would have killed me if that was Robert Redford.
Yep. Yep. I'd have been crushed.
If I gave a damn about that performance from Eastwood, which I didn't, because he's not there. He's
Right.
not present. I think he's thinking about the camera.
Yeah.
He is thinking about being the director of a scene, and he's not present in the scene.
Agreed. I was going to say, yeah, give me Redford or Paul Newman. I would have been all over that fucking shit. I've been all over that shit.
But again, I can see that as a stylistic choice because this is all coming from her perspective. So
Right.
he's thinking to himself, well, I can't be in this. It's not realistic enough for me to be in the story because she doesn't know my interiority. This is her interiority.
Yeah.
So I understand it. At the same time, it still doesn't work because it's not interesting enough.
Right. It doesn't keep your shit up.
Until we're there in that final moment and it's just her and it's just fucking beautiful.
Right. And it felt like that last part of that felt so inappropriate to toss in a Thomas Kincaid joke because it really was that good. Although when she opened the box, I did say, wouldn't it be funny if she opened a lithograph of Thomas Kincaid?
The other thread that I was on, aside from when they were supposed to be banging on bridges,
Right.
I was thinking about how I could get this movie out of my head by calling my friend Jonesy the dolphin.
Oh, that's right.
Jones the
Removing
dolphin,
the
and
pictures.
Oh, yes.
just have him kind of extract the movie from my head.
That's right. Because we changed it to Robert Mnemonic. Just
That's what every movie needs. And they're like, if you've got 2/3 of a movie that isn't very good, you just need to introduce a dolphin.
Yeah.
That that is a doctor.
Yeah.
With psychic powers.
Right.
It's exactly what every movie needs.
I would recommend not going to the aquarium in Chicago for this, though, because they really frown upon you trying to put things on a dolphin or even trying to touch a dolphin at all there. They don't like that. But anywhere
How many
else, I think
times
you're
have you
safe.
been to the aquarium?
They
What you gotta do
Okay.
is that you go to the Cayman Islands and you buy the Johnny Mnemonic dolphin packet,
Oh.
which they have for tourists.
Oh, I didn't
You can
know.
do things to that dolphin that you really don't want to talk about.
And that dolphin doesn't want to either.
No, dolphins are awful. I don't know if you know this. Dolphins are terrible. Dolphins are bad. They're very intelligent animals, but they're bad. The things that they do to people in the water sometimes. You ever seen a dog try to hump a human? Now imagine a dolphin doing that to you in the water.
Okay, but what are they working with?
They have I believe, a barbed penis.
Oh, well,
Like, they don't have a lot of arm movement.
No, they use their
How do
nose,
they-
the butting with the nose.
they knock you
that's
out
not
first.
like. Oh well, I suppose that would
like
work.
how
but
are they hanging on to you?
Because they couldn't exactly like.
But they're faster than you in water. They can run into you because they can swim faster than you.
Yeah, but you can also like. I mean, they can maybe
Get surrounded
get you
by
in
like
between-
4 of them. If you're surrounded by 4 dolphins,
Oh
forget
well,
it.
yeah. If
You're
you have
literally
multiple
fucked.
dolphins,
That's
4
why they only
dolphins.
let you swim with one.
It's a 4 dolphin gangbang. You'll
You think-
never forget.
Go ahead,
Terrifying.
look it up. You think I'm
Terrifying.
crazy? Dolphins do things. My boss back in talk radio, Jim Albrecht, told a story about what a dolphin tried to do to him on vacation, and it was not appropriate for the radio. He couldn't tell the story.
You
Amy-
never know what it's like
Amy
to
just looked
type
it up.
in dolphin penis.
ah,
That's a triton. That's not even a penis.
Yeah.
It's a triton.
Do you see what I'm saying?
ah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Now imagine a dolphin trying to do that to a human being.
I would be skewered.
Yeah. Dolphins are assholes.
That's terrifying.
You know what? I always thought it was a joke on Mr. Science Theater when Mike was making fun of dolphins going, oh, let's just call up SeaWorld. There's got to be a Blowy here. They get Blowy on the line. He's making fun of Blowy because he doesn't know anything about being an electrician. And then, this is a real thing happening. And then dolphins are actually in a spacecraft and they come down and they grab the satellite of love and they're basically going to kill them. And Mike had to apologize to electricians and to dolphins everywhere that he just made fun of them. So now I know that's real. Dolphins are not good.
That's interesting because I've heard those kind of stories, but then I've also heard of like female dolphins that will help humans give birth.
Oh, yeah.
which
Wait,
is interesting.
Of course it's a female. I'm sorry, but of course it's a female dolphin.
Yeah. It's like it's a weird dolphins are a weird species. Like
man.
they have too many complexities.
Again, to go back to the dollop, there is a dolphin dollop episode that you'll probably want to check out. Or not. Depending on how you can handle such information.
That's a penis in a jar. I think that's a dolphin still. I may have just hit penis on that one. I'm pretty sure it's a dolphin penis.
It says dolphin, so yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Common dolphin.
I just hit the word penis because I would like if you look at my search history on my phone, it's not good. Okay, a lot of it's dolphin penis or I'm not. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Dolphin penises. But,
So the bridges of Madison County almost made me cry.
yeah. It was like a dolphin penis to your backside, this movie.
It was like I was sexually assaulted by a
By a
dolphin.
dolphin.
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
And for the first 2/3, it wasn't very romantic.
No.
It got romantic at the end.
The last 30 minutes, we recommend the last 30 minutes of Bridges of Madison County. Yes. You don't have to watch the rest of it. Just know that there's some heartbreak, and that's all.
Go to the scene in the rain.
Yep.
Where you see wet dog Clint Eastwood getting in his truck.
Yep.
And then keep watching from there because it's an actual movie.
It's quite sweet.
It's so good.
It makes
And
a
I
really nice short story.
It does. And I don't know how to show my emotions anymore since I quit drinking. So now it's like I don't really know how to cry. So I internalized a lot of that, and I feel very sad. But if I were alone watching that movie, I would have bawled my eyes out that last part of it.
I was about to until you guys walked in.
Yeah, he looked like we thought he was going to kill us. Like he had murder eyes. When we walked in, we're like, dude.
No, I was
why
trying
you
to like
fucking ice cream?
it was like an emotional whiplash because I'm like I really got into it while you guys were gone.
We should have just waited outside the door, but the ice cream was going to melt, dude. It was going to melt.
I sent them to get ice cream because like it was bad. We're turning it off, and I was going to just finish it just to have to know how it ended, and then it just I fast forwarded to this part where he's in the rain and like, well, okay, I want to see where this is going, and from here because there's not that much time left. It can't be that much time left, and then it's like the entire third act has just begun, and.
And then but we were gone.
And so they got back and we watched the whole third act again.
Fuzzy's just like, nope, you're going to have to show it now because...
You didn't believe me.
Yeah. We didn't.
Like, how could it go from that to that? Like, it was a complete 180.
Yep.
We thought he had switched to a different movie while we were gone.
Yeah. Honestly, like, did you sit on the remote? Something happened?
Yeah, something did happen. Eastwood left the movie.
My God.
And again, I really do think he's just not, I think he's very self-conscious as a director. And I don't think him doing both. I think he's bad at doing both. Because he made a movie called Trouble with the Curve with Justin Timberlake and I think it might have been, was it Jessica? I don't know. It was Justin Timberlake and him and a female actress. Maybe it was, I can't remember, Isla Fisher maybe.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But it was so bad. And he directed that. But he's also in it. And so you can sense the same problems each time he's directing himself in a movie. I think he gets very self-conscious. Like, are the people I'm working with doing their job, or do I need to be behind the camera doing it for them? And he can't be in the moment.
That's fair. That's fair. Because, I mean, you give him the right opportunity. He's a competent director when he's not in the film.
Yeah, because except for 15-17 to Paris. Fuck that movie so much. Oh, my God.
Never heard of it until you said that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more of when it comes to Clint Eastwood, I suppose it's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. That's probably it for me, but I love that movie so much. But I just don't care about him as far as it being a director.
Yeah.
Any other way, so.
Unforgiven is really good, which makes no sense, I guess. But he also is playing a character who's not talking very much.
Right, so that does make sense.
That does make sense maybe in that way.
It changes it.
And Hackman's doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh, Hackman.
I love you, Hackman.
God. Oh, yeah, you weren't here for Crimson Tide.
No, I was not.
You miss Hackman.
If they'd been there, there'd been a lot more dead Gene Hackman jokes.
That's true. Well, why? Because I would want to bounce more off of Fuzzy.
That's like because we want to see you cringe, yeah.
That's true. I would have, too.
It just you behind the scenes, MJ is a terrible influence.
Yeah,
like,
it's awesome.
The reason they don't say much on the show is because they've said it all during the movie, and it's like watching Johnny Storm at the end of Deadpool.
Oh my God. A compliment for you is a compliment for us. That's brilliant. That's
Oh
great.
my God.
That's true too. It is true. What's up for next week?
I don't know.
I don't have my computer out here, otherwise I'd bring it up.
That's a complete fail for Amy.
Oh, now if it's a Thomas Kincaid documentary,
I mean,
I would be thrilled.
after we've been through it, that's not a terrible idea.
It's not a terrible idea. Yeah, I've got emotional whiplash right now. It's true.
Talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
Okay.
Reflect upon the movie or do whatever you do.
I was going to say, I don't need much direction, Clint. That ice cream gave me gas, though. Like, now my stomach hurts a little.
That'll work faster.
I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want? When's your next play?
Oh, not until I think December is when it would be put on.
Oh my God, it's so far away.
It is. It's very far away.
Do you miss it?
Christmas Story?
I do miss it. Yeah.
So you only do like 2 a year? Or
Yeah.
Well, I guess for
2 a
rehearsals and
year.
all that, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not like I have it's not like I have much time in the summer to do that anyway.
It's true.
Like,
You're busy.
so,
You're a busy baby.
yeah.
It's
So,
like a grandma face. You just make
If you try to be an actor and director, try and stay in the scene and still direct.
Yeah, you don't have to be Clint when you start doing all this stuff for real.
Do you have a desire to be a director?
if it were the show that I was writing, I would want to direct it because I have control issues and would really like to be in control of things.
MJ's going to direct, produce, star.
Just do all of
Right,
it.
all of it. Yep.
I believe we're in need of a palate cleanser for next week,
Yes.
and so we shall cleanse the palate with none other than Congo, the legendary Congo.
No. No.
Dylan Walsh, the lovely Laura Linney,
Oh, I do love
lots
them.
of gorillas, and Danger, and Michael Crichton.
Well, that's why I said no. What were the other options?
That was the only option for next week.
Congo's the only one.
Congo is it.
Sorry, guys. We'll see you next week.